Okay, so this is the first exercise in Photoshop for Shahrazad's class. So basically what you guys are going to want to do is where it says file, click on it and you'll see a bunch of things drop down. You're going to do file new and you should see something kind of like this. If you don't, then it should, if you don't, then you can ask me because I don't quite know what you guys have. So where it says width, you're going to put 300. And where it says height, you're also going to put 300. The resolution will stay the same at 72 and everything else. But where it says color mode, you're going to go where it says 8-bit, click on the drop down menu and click it as 16-bit. Keep the thing as transparent. And where it says code or color profile, click don't color manage on the drop down. And you're going to see one that says working RGB. Click on that. That's the one you're going to want to work with. And at the bottom, it says create, click create. You're going to come up with something like this. So a quick little tip to make it easier, because if you want to zoom pretty easily, if you have a mouse connected to your laptop or computer, go into where at the top right, or not top right, what am I saying top right? Top left, where it says edit, go all the way down to where it says preferences. Click on that. You'll have something on the side that pops up. And you're going to go into general, which you can also use the command Control K to enter into. Now you're going to go into tools. Here you'll have a few different things that are already check marked and stuff. On the right, you're going to see something that says zoom with scroll wheel. I already have that enabled, so it's going to not be ticked off. You're going to want to click that, and that's when you'll be able to actually zoom with your scroll wheel. Then you click OK. For those who don't really want to use that option, then you can actually go into the top left. Oh my God. The top left where it says view, and you can do zoom in and zoom out. You have those two options right there. All right, let's get to the instructions that she wants you guys to do. So first, she said she wants you to name this layer cloud or something. I don't know. Let's say cloud. Also, this is a bit of an easier way to do it. It's the same results, but it's not as, like, I've compressed and condensed some of her information, so it's a bit easier, but you still get the same results. So I'll do that again. You're going to double click on the layer where it says cloud. If you can see that right there. And enter. Now you're going to want to add, actually, no, you're not going to want to add. Go to the top where it says color. You're going to see these two boxes. Click on the first box, and this is going to be your first color, which at the very bottom where it has this like number symbol, you're going to want to change that to, I think it's FFF, so 6 Fs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll give you a white. Now you're going to click, let me just move this. Now you're going to click OK. You'll have a white foreground right there. And the black, you also click on that one if you haven't, and that's 6 zeros where the number symbol is. And then again, click OK. Now you're going to want to add a second layer, which we're going to do first. So at the very bottom on your right, where the trash can is, go to the next one over, and it is a plus sign. This is creating a new layer. So you're going to click that. You're going to have a new layer. Okay. Click back onto your first layer. Okay. And what you're going to want to do here is put an effect. So go into your filters. This will all be at the top of your screen or your work section where the file, edit, and image are. Click on filter. You're going to see a bunch of stuff. Go into render, and there'll be options that drop down, and pick clouds. You're going to see something like this. So once you're done that, go back onto your cloud layer. Okay. Actually, no. Click on your layer 1. This is going to be your first thing. One second. So same thing again. Click on your layer 1. Double click where it says layer 1 and then name it to, I believe, square. Yeah, name it to square. And you're going to go where your toolbar is, which is on the left-hand side. And you're going to click on the second option right here, right under the grab tool or the move tool. So yes, this is the move tool. You click it every time you want to move something around. This is your, as I call it, a marquee tool. You make shapes out of it. So she tells you to right click, but you can actually click on it and hold down. And you pick the rectangular marquee tool. I'll just do that again. Hold down when you click on it and rectangular marquee tool. Okay. So now what you're going to want to do is create a rectangle. So you're going to drag and hold. She says shift, but you don't have to do shift. But for easy sake, we're going to do shift. So shift, hold it down, and then drag. Let's say you like that, right? You don't, first, you're going to be like, oh, it's not in the center. So we're going to do that after. What I want you guys to do is actually click on the part where it says color. Click on the foreground color and double click. You're going to pick any random color that you want here. I'm going to pick, let's say, I'm going to pick that. Okay. Click OK. Now, what I want you guys to do is go back to the toolbar right here and see where that paint bucket is. Sometimes you might not see that paint bucket. Sometimes you might actually see other options. So I'm going to hold down and click. And sometimes you might see something that looks like that, the paint bucket or the 3D tool. So once you find that paint thing, I want you to click in the middle and fill the square. It'll fill the square with the color that you chose and set in your foreground. All right. So now there's this entire thing around the border, right? Around the entire square. And it's selected and you're probably like, it's not even in the center. So what I want you guys to do is actually hit Control D. Control D deselects your entire thing. So hit Control D and it deselects. Now I want you guys to go back on the move tool, which is the first thing on your toolbar. And you'll be able to move things. See how it does that? Now you can actually center it. So I've centered it right here. In the next step, what she wants you guys to do is add an effect. So since you're on this layer, go to the very bottom where all your like layers, channels, and paths are. You're going to see something at the very bottom called FX. I want you guys to click on that. And that is something called adding a layer style. And you're going to see different options. She said that she wanted you guys to add stroke. That is basically a border around that square. You're going to come up with the options. And here you can see that I've already have some settings. So you can actually play with this a bit and you can change the size, make it smaller. So you can see that. You can put it on the inside, which looks pretty cool. Blend mode, doesn't actually matter. It's up to you, but I'm going to keep it as normal. And the color, I'm going to keep the color, but if you wanted to change it, you just click it and then where it has a circle, you just move it onto the color gradient that you want. Press OK. And for this, also press OK. That's your first few steps. As you can see, there's a border on the outside. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is, again, go to the bottom right next to the trash can and add a second layer. Where it says create new layer, you'll see this little plus sign. Click it and rename it. this will be circle. Circle. Now go back to your marquee tool. It should look like a square. It's the second one from the move tool. Hold it. And where it says elliptical marquee tool, click on it. Now you're going to do the exact same thing that you did with the square. Hold shift and then drag. You're going to get a perfect circle. Don't worry if it's not exactly in the middle, we'll be able to move it after. And then again, to make it easier, go to the color, the foreground, the first box. Click. Pick a second color. Okay, I'm going to pick this color. There you go. Find your paint bucket and then fill the circle. And it's filled. Now click Control D and you should have something that looks kind of like this. You're going to want to add another special effect to this. So make sure that you have your layers selected. Every single time, it is very important that you include the fact that you have it's very important that you're working on the layer. It will give you a warning if you don't, or you might mess up. So for all of these, just assume that we have been working on the layer, the respected layer. So for the circle, we use the circle layer. Now go back to the bottom, click where it says FX. You're going to get a bunch of options. And for this, you're going to do bevel and emboss. You're going to come up with your options, bevel and emboss, as you can see here. Basically, it just bevels it. You can add more things. You can do an inner bevel, an outer bevel. Let's do an outer. You see something like that, right? Actually, I don't like that. Let's do this. Inner bevel. You can pick smooth, chisel hard. There's a lot of different options that you can do with that. So let's say I picked that, right? You can add some other stuff if you want. Inner glow, shadow, play around with it. Do whatever you want. It doesn't really do too much. You can add the size up, so it'll look like that. It's quite weird. So just, I'm gonna lower the size. Let's say I want that, and that's perfect. Click OK. Now you have this interesting thing. So what I want to say about this is that when a really, really helpful thing to do is actually lock this layer, because when you add text to it, you're going to move it around. So to not have that happen, where it says lock, you're going to see a bunch of options where, so like around here, you should see this thing here. That will lock your thing. So you can't move it, right? You just can't move it. Everything else isn't locked, but this is locked. If you want to get rid of it, then you double click on the lock. She said that you didn't have to add a layer for the text, but it actually makes it easier so it's not stuck to one layer. So add a layer, bottom, square, plus sign. We're going to name this text. It makes it a bit easier so you're not dealing with it. It might actually not matter after, so I'll experiment with that. So you're going to click here where it has the T, and you're going to have different options: horizontal tool type, vertical tool type, doesn't matter. But in this one, she wants horizontal. Now you're going to see this little box thing, and go to the very top, and you're going to change whatever thing you want. You're going to have different options. You can change to whichever one you want. There's a bunch of different things here. I'm just going to stick with Franklin Gothic Heavy. And you can also change this. Sharp. I'm going to keep sharp. So now you write a word, and that is huge. That's very big. Wow. Let's not do that. Okay. Yeah, you're just going to have to wait for it to not. 1 second. Now, and go to the very top, change your color. I'm going to change it to, let's say, black. And there we go. And you can also do this. Let's change it to 48. And I'm going to write some random word. Word. Get rid of that. Word. It's not exactly in the middle, right? So after that, you're going to select the move tool and you're going to be able to move this. There you go. And now it's in the middle, right? Now here's the other part that some people had issues with. So now this is the part where you will actually need to get another photo. So in this one, she did a Lego photo. I'm actually personally going to use a different photo. So you're going to go to File, Open. Now you're going to be given a bunch of different things, right? You can go to your photos. And actually, let's redo that. One second, I'll redo that. Sorry, I just had to resume and pause because there was an issue on my computer, but I fixed it. So like I said, File, Open, or Control-O. That's your command. And if you're having the same issue that I did, you're like, I can't find anything. I can't find photos. Well, your problem is probably the fact that the document is a large document format. So go onto that, click on it, and instead of that, click JPEG. And I found some photos, so let's just pick some random ones. Let's say I chose that one. Double click, and it should open in another set. So this is the photo that I chose, right? Probably have no idea how to use this. You're going to want to unlock it first. So go on to where your layers would be and where it says background, the little lock right there, and unlock. So it's just going to be layer 0. You're going to have these little things around it. But if you can't do that, then you can do select all, and it'll select the entire thing. At this point, you're going to do Control C, which is copy. Control C. Go into back into your original document or your original PDF thing, your Photoshop thing, and now hit Control V. Now you should have a photo. It's going to be extremely zoomed in. So if you have the scroll wheel, scroll out. If not, then you go into View and zoom out. Okay. So this is what mine's going to look like. So like that. And it's going to ask you if it's not going to let you move anything or touch anything. So you have to go to the top and click the plus sign, or not the plus sign, the check mark. Wow, I can't talk tonight. I guess it's because it's 10 in the evening. So yeah, you're going to have this. We're going to call this, background. So rename it to like background to make it easier. And what you're going to want to do is have background selected. So you're actually working on that layer. Right click. You're going to get all these options, and you're going to want to create a clipping mask. Basically what a clipping mask is this thing where whatever layer that you have underneath it is the thing that it's going to cover. So in this case, if you were to move your clipping mask and it wasn't the next layer above your text. So if you can see here, it's background and then text. If you had that in a completely different order, then your thing is probably not going to turn out properly. You're going to have a really weird clipping mask. If that happens, just play around and make sure that you move the background layer all the way to the top. Also, if you ever make any mistakes, use Control Z and it'll go back to it'll go back before you made the mistake. So as you can see here, the photo is actually within the words. So that means that this worked. It clipped out whatever was in, which was, I believe, the color black in the middle of the words, and it added in that photo. You can actually move that photo around, but because I didn't lock the other thing, it's probably going to move your cloud thing. But yeah. Since mine works like that, you can actually move it around like that, and you can change it to how you want it. So I'm gonna change it to, let's say, I like that. And then check mark, right? And I believe that's actually where she left off. So yeah, that is how you do it. If you have any questions or concerns, remember you can just message me and yeah, all good.